In 1982, the Volunteer Centre of SA began. This pioneer organisation, now known as Volunteering SA&NT, was the brainchild of two dynamic women, retirees Mavis Reynolds and Joy Noble. With help from SACOS's Lang Powell and a chance meeting at the Citizens Advice Bureau, they came together to fulfil their dream of creating a professional agency that matched volunteer skills to organisations.
I walked down Franklin Street and there was this old building, 150 years old, and it had "To Let" on it. And I thought, oh gee, that's close to the post office and close to transport.
Yes. We just had one room at the beginning because that's all we had the money for. And we would interview people in the corridor.
Yes.
But then we got a bit more money, and so we had a couple of rooms. And I remember at morning tea time, everybody was laughing and joking and...
Yeah.
A year later, in 1983, patron Hazel Hawke, the wife of newly elected Prime Minister Bob Hawke, visited the centre and launched the inaugural Volunteer Week at David Jones in Rundle Mall, followed by a civic reception at the Adelaide Town Hall.
We had such a great lot of volunteers.
You found all the volunteers because you had all the contacts.
Yes, well, of course, I've been living in Adelaide for a long time by then, and so anyone I knew, or if they were related to me or old friends, they had no option but to come and volunteer at the centre. And so it was a very happy time.
As Adelaide grew, so did the demand for volunteer services. By 1984, Joy and Mavis also established two suburban branches which became incorporated bodies, now known as Northern Volunteering SA and Southern Volunteering SA. That same year, Marion Martin was employed as the first executive officer.
I was so happy to have something to be involved with because I didn't know a soul except Lloyd's army mates. So it was great for me. Yes. I enjoyed it.
Yes. I was very interested in it because I thought that people needed to, who wanted to volunteer, needed to have a good match with an organisation. And so that's how the referral service started. But then we realised that there was no literature on volunteering.
Yeah.
So a young sister and I, we got together and wrote the first book about volunteering, a resource manual.
And I think there was a freedom, and the volunteers, they could always ask questions or make suggestions. It was like an open discussion.
Right. Yeah.
We're all together doing this.
Yes.
And one thing I remember particularly that I liked was the volunteers were on a trial. They didn't just go and accept it. They had to be on trial, and the organisation had to be on trial to see that they were looked after, had a cup of tea, had a place to put their purse, and they knew exactly what job they were going to do. They were matched.
In 2002, Joy Noble became a member of the Order of Australia for her services to the volunteer movement. In that same year, Mavis Reynolds was awarded a Medal of the Order of Australia for her service to the community of Penrith in Sydney and other volunteer groups.
I'm grateful for volunteering. I don't feel, look what I've done. I feel that was really valuable in my life.
Yes.
Especially being retired, that you had a meaningful thing to do that was rewarding and you were learning all the time.
Yeah. And not only that, the friends you made.
That's right.
Certainly the friends I've got at the moment, mainly I met through volunteering, yes.